Hello everybody, I'm Jennifer Bell, Film Marketing, and I hope that you're having the most amazing weekend. So, I just wanted to do a quick video just talking about things you need in order to succeed online, or just improve online so that you can get to the point of success. The first thing is to have self-belief. If you don't believe in what you're doing, you don't believe in yourself, then it's not going to work at all. You know, you totally got to believe in yourself that you could do it, because there are going to be hard times. When you're first starting out online, there's a lot to learn. There's so much to learn and do and get better at. You're going to hear a lot of people having negative things, whether they just don't believe in it at all working online, they feel like you should get a real job, or they've been scammed before. You've got to believe in yourself, so no matter what they say, when you have self-belief, then you can believe in the product or service and you're good to go. You know, that's really the main thing, is just believing in yourself, believing in what you're doing, so then that way when you hear those negative things, you're not ready to give up and shut down and move on to something that you know you're not going to be happy in. The online space is really good for people that are creative, that want to work on their own. They want time freedom to be able to travel, spend time with their kids, not have to worry about finding someone to cover them, not having to work a set amount of hours, busting their butt for 8 hours. It's really good for people like that. But there are a lot of things that can just really make it difficult. That's much different than the regular 9 to 5. So definitely have self-belief. Another one is consistency. You know, there's a lot of good reasons why we don't show up, whether it's going on vacation. You just said, I'm on vacation, I don't want to deal with anything with work, whether it is just taking a mental break, which is good for our mental health. You've got to get off social media, off your electronics every once in a while, just to give your brain a break, give yourself some mental clarity and some mental peace. Or whether you are just trying to focus on training and really diving into what your product or service is about, and you just really want to be able to focus. But when you're just starting out, you want to show up as much as possible in some way, whether it is posting a story, posting a live, doing an hour or two of engagement on other people's posts. You don't have to post every day, but show up in some forms that you don't give people a chance to forget about you. You know, when you're just starting out, it's just like a brick and mortar business. If somebody opens up a shop and then all of a sudden they're just disappeared, and then you're like, well, you know, then they automatically are going to move on to a store that they know more about, that they might not like as much, but that is more consistent in their hours. They're more trustworthy, so that, you know, sometimes if you feel like you never know when the hours are going to be open for a business, you just kind of get turned off and you just move on. And then you kind of are in the mode where you don't want to give them a second chance, because it's just kind of like it was so abrupt and you didn't expect it. Sometimes that's just how our brain works, where we just, it doesn't necessarily mean it's anything personal, it's just we just kind of connect just suddenly closing down and not being able to be found, just something negative, and so we just move on. You just want to try and show up as much as possible. Consistency shows that you're taking it seriously, that it's not just a hobby, that you're not just seeing it like a game. And then if you were to recruit or have a team under you, they know that you're going to be there and be consistent as well. Another thing is to have patience. This can take years. When you're just starting out, trying to build a following, getting people to know, like, and trust you, so that way they feel like if they join you, you're not just going to disappear. You're going to be taking it seriously. And there's just so much to learn. It really just takes time. It can take a couple years. And if you're looking at it versus, you know, you could be working 40 hours for 40 years for somebody. You kind of know how the retirement works and all that, but you could be putting that 40 years towards yourself, building yourself up, learning lifelong skills, gaining, you know, things like time consistency and time management, which can help you anywhere. You know, so it's for 40 hours working for someone else versus 40 hours working for yourself. Working for other people might be perfect for you. Some people are more cut out to work for someone else, know what to expect, have that structure. Some people work better off that, but some of us don't. So working online and working at home is just a much better option for us, because we're more creative. I should say, in what we like to open our minds up to. There's nothing wrong with working for anybody else. It's just the type of personality. Some of us just thrive better off being kind of doing things a little differently. And the thing is that I had low self-confidence and low self-belief, so it's kind of weird that I'm doing this, but I just decided to take a chance on myself. I was terrified just starting it because there's so many things that go through your head, like what happens if I get a team, like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be head of people, just thinking all these negative things, like I have so many people I'm gonna have to talk to, like what if I suddenly forget everything I've learned, I'm trying to do a Zoom, or so many crazy stuff that just goes through my head. And I just decided to push that aside and just go for it, just keep going, do the best I can, build myself up and see what happens. But patience really is an important thing, because you have to realize that it's going to take a while. These days people like to really get to know the person that they join, whether you're a customer or you're an affiliate. So you want to have a personality that's just easy to work with. That's another thing, is being coachable. You have to be coachable. There can be some things that it just seems really weird, really awkward, but you have to be willing to do it, because if it's someone that's making 7-8 figures, even 6 figures, they know what they're doing. They're making that kind of money for a reason. It's not easy for just anybody to make 6, 7, 8 figures. So if they're telling you something, just try it. The worst that can happen is if over time you're noticing that's not something that's working for you, try it a little differently, tweak it. There's certainly other 6, 7, 8 figures that will tell you the complete opposite, that that's not how they did it. Some people can say, oh, LinkedIn is the place to go, so they will do LinkedIn trainings, versus some people will say TikTok. Some people will say they love cold messaging, versus some people will say that they love attraction marketing. So, you always try everything, and then if down the road, like I said, it doesn't work out for you, just try something else. The point is that you keep going until you find what clicks. That's something else too, is don't just give up just because the first thing doesn't work. Even if it is somebody reputable, sometimes things just don't work out for certain people. So just keep going. You have to be persistent. Have that drive to want to succeed no matter what. Even when things get hard, you want to keep going. That was another hardship of mine, is that I would run the other way. As soon as things started to get difficult, or I felt confused or overwhelmed, I'd off somewhere else real quick. With anxiety, you get overwhelmed quickly, you get frustrated quickly about even the smallest thing, and you just move on to something else, because you just are trying to avoid any kind of confrontation, any kind of stress. But what really helped me is just seeing my progress up until this point for the past 2 years, and it's really helped me realize that I am capable of anything. If you really put your mind to it, you can do it. You can succeed. Even if it's a slow pace, you're still on your journey there, and that's what counts. A little bit each day adds up to be a lot. Another thing is to be willing to, if it's, you don't want to give up it, but if you have to take a different route, take a different route. Don't just be set in stone going one way. Sometimes things might be better going a little off the road. It's fine if you take your own road sometimes. Sometimes you'll realize that, going straight isn't going to work. You've got to go this way or if you understand what I'm saying. You have to be willing to be flexible, I should say. Doing all this jumble instead of just saying flexible. My mind just did not catch on to flexible. But you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to have an open mind and see things, if things seem they might be a little bit better doing it this way, then just try it that way. There's so many ways that you can succeed that will work best for you. You could try other people's techniques, see what happens, but ultimately that perfect plan is going to happen just for you. And you have to be willing to fail. That's another thing too. Be willing to fail, because that shows you're trying. Nobody ever just gets everything right off the bat. There's literally nobody on earth. Even the most expert people are always not good at everything. That's why they're expert in certain things. But it still takes time. They still have to build up their knowledge and get to know things. Even people like Russell Brunson, he did not know anything about it before, but he started researching, and now look at him. He's expert over top of so many people. He didn't know anything about it, but he gained his knowledge from other people. When you go to think, wow, he is in the position he is, and he literally was where I'm at, starting, not knowing anything. He was not a marketer. He did not set out to be an online marketer. But now look at him. He's blown up. So You just got to remember all these values, all these skills that you need to keep with you in your little toolbox as you move on in the online journey, because it will be tough. It will take time. You're going to get a lot of negative naysayers, whether it's somebody you know or somebody you don't. And sometimes your road might be a little jagged. But just believe in yourself, believe in what you're doing, keep going. Take the time and soak up all the knowledge you can as you move along your journey, because you will get there. Even if it takes 2 years, even if it takes 10 years. Imagine when you hit that 10 years and you finally make it, how good that's going to feel when you no longer have to worry about any of the things that you're worrying about right now. So will that be worth it? Or still spending 40 years in something you know about but that you're miserable? So you have to think about all those things. Really sit down, write down what you're looking for, write down what you're good at, what you're hoping to gain, what you are trying to get rid of or move past, and then just make a decision just to go for it. Things don't have to be really scary. The first step is always the scariest, because that's you actually deciding to go for it. Once you actually move on and you take those steps forward, it gets easier and easier. And then things start becoming more clear to you, and then you realize that this is where you were meant to be. So just go for it. Just do it. Don't ever doubt yourself and your capabilities, because even if it takes you a longer time than others, you're still continuing to try, and that means something. And some people might be looking at you like, wow, I wish I was, was where she's at right now. So where you're thinking that you're stuck, other people are like just so amazed by and impressed by. So I hope you found value in this. If you have any questions, you can comment below. Hit the like button and the subscribe button and the bell so you can receive all notifications. And yeah, just remember all these values as you move along in your online journey. They're all so important. That's what I'm learning too. I've only been in this for 2 years, so I'm certainly not an expert, but I just like to share what I've learned, because it has helped me so much. Having low self-confidence, low self-belief, having no time management, no consistency, no faith in myself, no real skills, no real good education. And that's one thing I learned too, is time management. You really learn how to manage your time better, because it's so necessary. It's so important. You have to learn how to divide your time between family and business and other tasks that you do outside of business. Just remember all these things, and you will be well on your way to working towards your dreams and living the life that you want and that you deserve. So I hope to see you guys next time. And like I said, I do videos every Sunday. Sometimes I have some in during the week, but most of the time they're at least on Sunday. So I'll see you guys all next time.